Hello, people. Another impromptu live. Yes, yes. The towel's back. Because if the towel's not there, guess what you get? Ah! And who wants that? Pardon. Let me pour myself a little something, something while the notifications go out. I don't know who's playing football tonight. All I care about is the Bears won, and that's all that really matters. And that was a hell of a game. It never should have been in doubt. But the Bears defense had and the special teams had an epic collapse towards the end and did their level best about trying to lose that game. So I'm like, man, but I'm just glad I got my voice back. For a while there, I did not have a voice. And I know some of you are crestfallen over that. You probably wish that was a permanent thing, but it is what it is. As the great Willie would say, it is what it is. I got to work on my Willie impression. Salute. Should have said that first. It's been a long day. Uh, so I hope your team won. If you follow the footballs, unless you're a Packers fan, then burn in hell. But no, we're getting close to election time, and it just goes to show that our system was never meant for this many people having the vote. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. It was supposed to be for people that had skin in the game, and it just goes to show you how easily manipulated people are in regards to the siren call, really, of socialism, communism, and that ilk. It's one of those things that looks good on paper. It never works out the way it's supposed to, and then once the inevitable failure happens, then they claim that real communism has never been tried, and they go back to the drawing board, and the cycle rinses and repeats. And it's never going to be implemented the way they perceive it because it goes completely against human nature, and that means it's destined to fail. So there you go. How do you sub? Well, you should just be able to click the channel, and hit subscribe. I appreciate you asking. Oh, like and subscribe. I know it's a little bit different when it's on the big screen. If you just click up here, I'm sure it'll bring it up. There, right on, man. Thank you. And how's your day going, soccer? And I put a little drama video out today, but it's fine. Some guy got ass hurt because he was wrong about certain political definitions, and I clapped back on him, but it wasn't anything too serious. And then he did a cheesy ass video, and I just like whatever. Sometimes the mood suits me, and I responded. It is what it is. Oh my. Well, I appreciate you being here. Yeah, it's just it is what it is. It's the benefits of not being a huge channel. I can pretty much go any direction I feel like going at the time. So if I want to respond to drama, I can do that, right? And if you guys wanted a polished professional, you wouldn't be here. Just being real about it. We like YouTube, like the old school YouTube. It's raw, it's unscripted. We're here to have a good time, chew the fat, whatever. Um, if you wanted professional, you would stick to ABC or whatever the hell, right? You wouldn't be here. This is our tube, right? But yeah, man, it's crazy. The New Yorkers are about to get what they damn well deserve, and that's going to be Mamdani, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we're even having to discuss this. If you listen to his campaign promises, he is literally promising uh, bullshit that can never be manifested, and it's just ridiculous. He's going to take control of all the property, and he's going to create social housing, and he's going to create these social grocery stores. That's not for profit, and they're just going to run out of government buildings. They don't have to pay taxes or anything out of that, and they're just going to undercut all the competition out there at the grocery stores it's just stupid bullshit. We're going to rent control everything. What's some of the dumbass shit he's saying? So he's got the price controls on the rent. He's going to take control over social housing and create more of that. Social grocery stores. Oh yeah, the free buses. He's going to make the buses run free, and somehow he's going to make it. He's not only is he going to make the buses free, but he's going to make them faster somehow, as if he's going to magic away the traffic in New York City. I mean, it's bullshit, guys. It's bullshit. Well, there you go, Just John. The only sport I really felt follow is the NFL, but to each their own. I don't even know how the World Series is doing. Is it still going or is it over? Last I remember it was the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. I hope the American team won. That's all I know. If you can consider LA part of America still. Oh, okay. Right on, man. You keep changing your name. Why do you do that? I think it's funny. A bunch of people come in and they vanish because they see it's an old white guy telling you're talking shit. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be a truck driver and have a political opinion about things. It's okay. And I guarantee you, my opinion on here is more well thought out and it's more poignant than what you're going to find on, say, CNN. It just is because I'm not a paid actor. I'm giving it to you how I really see it. Sugar tank, yeah, sugar tank. You gotta be careful having that sugar in the tank, John. I'm just saying. If you have too much sugar in the tank, we know what that means. I'm boring. I could be. I'm not for everybody. It is what it is. I'm not out here with I don't have the Boggs dance. I'm not out here dancing and juggling for you. But if you want to talk about today's politics, this is the right place to be. And you have your voice heard. Do a backflip. I wish I could. I do a backflip. I'm gonna hurt myself. And it's just the long and the short of it. My opinions are bad. No, I think my opinions are correct. They're very much correct. See, you want to be told that everything can be given to you by and from the government, and everything is going to be wonderful, and they're going to sprinkle their magic pixie dust, and it's going to fix your sad life, and that everything's going to be hunky dory, and that's just not the way it works, and it hasn't worked for any of these socialist countries, for any of them. I'm not triggered. I'm just telling you the reality, and I'm passionate, but I'm not triggered. Not your kids. I can tell you that if you got any. Your womb is barren. Your womb is so polluted. You got nothing. I don't know the whole quote. I just remember that part of it. Your womb is so polluted. You got no kids. I suck anyways. Well, I appreciate you being here. Uh, I can't wait to hear people defending communists running for mayor. I know, right? No, not you, the U.S. Us suck anyway. Now you're confusing me, Melissa. You have to help me out here. I'm an old guy. So do I suck, or does the U.S. suck, or do I suck because I live in the U.S.? So do I tangentially suck, or do I just suck on my own? You guys are a trip, man. Are you really worried about my marriage? I think you need to worry about your own relations. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. No, I know I'm good, but that's okay. I do appreciate the concern, though. Take yeah. What is it with these people, right? They don't like old white guys with glasses. I don't understand. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, you're this guy and that guy. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. If I ain't your jam, it's fine. Well, what do you look like? Let's see what you look like. Can we see what you look like? I can't. I suspect you have a man bun. If you have a man bun, you have no room to talk. Or you just don't like clean cut guys. I'm sorry. That's just a product of growing up in a military family. With people that actually give a shit about the country. It sounds like you can do with a little bit of civic pride and patriotism, sir. If I presume to call you sir, and not he, she, it, they, them, attack helicopter, racehorse, whatever the fuck you want to identify today as. Do they have basements from which to troll online from Europe? Because most of these commenters scream, "Well, you can." They come from all over. They come from all over, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, if they think the right wing movement is powerful here in the United States, woo, boy, in their own backyard over there in the EU, I saw recently that the actual like Mussolini fascist party is making a comeback in Italy. I mean, like legit coming back. I'm like, yeah, because we want to see more of that. Call me whatever you want, dude. I am living a pretty good life. I'm living a pretty good life. And you're here sharing it with me. So there you go. We'll we'll revel in this together. Liberals idolize Europe, and now Europe is turning into what I know. I know it's crazy. Of course, they have a lot worse over in Europe right now because of the Muslim scourge that has invaded and has been allowed to pervade their society, even though their ancestors fought like crazy, damn near the last man to drive them out of Europe. And now their progeny has decided to open the borders wide open and just allow them back in by the millions. It took the Spanish 800 years to eject the Moors from the Iberian Peninsula, and they just let them back in. And it's like, huh, I guess some lessons they need to learn more than once. Oh, God. Actually, I just got my blood work back, and everything is mwah, chef's kiss. Hard times breeding tough men creating easy time. Yeah, yeah. It's it's definitely a cycle, Dave Gavin. It's unfortunate that we have to keep learning these lessons over and over and over again. And I don't know. I mean, it's crazy that when you have a particular system like Marxism that has been an abject failure every single time it's been implemented, and these idiots keep trying to, like, by God, we'll do it again. And I'm like, no, stop. We know how this ends. We played this game over and over and over again for the last 100 years. It's a failure. Your ideology is a failure. It's never going to work. Not saying that capitalism doesn't have its problems, but compared to the alternatives, you guys are fucking smooth brains. Pardon my French. You're not politically literate. You don't know what the hell you're even wanting. And the things that you do want are the imaginations of a literal child. The government doesn't create, it only takes and reallocates. And if you think they could just magically drive your grocery prices down because they're going to open up a grocery store, I mean, they already tried it and they ran out of food within like the first day. Because if you offer something for free, well, yeah, you put a free saucer of milk on the street, all the stray cats in a 5 block radius are going to show up and drain that bowl. Well, yeah, if you keep putting free shit out, people are going to take advantage. But that's just going to create shortages. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Dude, my blood pressure's fine. Hi, Charlotte. Down syndrome. Are you down with the syndrome? Are you down with the sickness? That's fine. You guys just get it out of your system. Get it out of your system. It changes nothing, and I'm still correct at the end of the day. You need to realize that all of your insults mean nothing because I'm still correct. I have been from the very beginning. You need to understand that. I I don't know which clown are you talking about. We've had some clowns. The pretender in chief that we just booted out that was supposed to be all there with his mental faculties, right? She gone. You try to put DEI hire Barbie as a replacement, and she gone. So yeah, if you're talking about Trump, yeah, he is a little clownish. He's a little buffoonish with the social media, but I'm okay with that. I would rather have a president with a sense of humor that likes to troll people that fuck with him, but still get things done. And whatever your feelings about the man, he has gotten things done. And he still has another a little over 3 years to go. Buckle up. We're not even done with the first year yet, man. And look what he's done. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Dude, why not be both? I'm right and healthy. That's the way things work. It's not an either or. It's not a zero sum game. I could be correct and healthy. Look at people trip me out. Trump is changing things for the better, and you must best just get your mind right about that. He has. Now, some parts of his plan will take time because Biden has fucked our economy to such an extent that it's going to take a little time to unfuck it. Now I know there's a bunch of people out there where they're, oh, I got that. I'm going to hit me with a wall of text and credentials and all that. Look, man, You don't have to agree with what Trump's doing or his economic ideology and all that, but what you can't say is he's not effective, because he is. And he's changing things for the better for working class people such as myself and for most of you here in the chat. You know, I can't speak for some of the deadbeats out there, but for the people out here still slugging away every day, yeah, yeah, it's been a benefit to us, and we have been ignored for much too long. And yeah, it's nice to hear our voices heard and our wants and needs addressed. What do we got? Most of it goes back to George W. I think GW allowed a huge crash. Obama's answer was to print money. Then Trump came in and did some good stuff. And then got some good stuff. Biden comes in, prints money. Yeah. Well, to be fair, at the end of Trump's second, I mean, excuse me, at the end of his first term, he got hit with a global pandemic that China unleashed on the planet, and then the entire Earth's economy came to a grinding halt for damn near a year. And then after the OK flag was sent up, even Democrat states stayed locked down longer than they absolutely should have. But yeah, it's hard to come back from that. I don't care who's in office. Yeah. So yeah, Trump did grow the deficit because he had to. Right? You can't just send people home for, I don't know, a couple of weeks to flatten the curve because they had to figure out what the fuck was going on with the virus, the Wuhan virus, the Kung flu. It was Biden and his morons that kept it extended and then paid people an additional $600 a week on top of the unemployment to keep people at home for much longer than they should have. I mean, it was the whole thing was absurd, absurd, uh, and it came out that Fauci was just inventing shit off the top of his head. 6 feet of distancing. We got to wear the masks. Only so many people could be at a grocery store at one point. Even though we're all standing next to each other on a fucking line, waiting outside the store to get in, it's just like the whole thing didn't make sense. And it was all because it was his fault for partnering with an adversary in China, trying to essentially make airborne AIDS. Because if you go back and listen to the hearings, the trunk of the HIV virus was utilized in creating the Kung flu. So basically, they were trying to make aerosolized AIDS. Isn't that wonderful? And of course, commies being commies, they don't have give a shit about human life or things like safety measures or regards to anything like that. Containment. Obviously, we saw it Chernobyl. We saw it with the Kung flu. And yes, it is China's fault because it happened on their soil. They were the one, even though they had global funding coming into that facility, it was their fault because it was their facility, and they got sloppy because they're dirty commies, and that's what they do. They don't have any regards for anything and anybody else, and the rest is history. Made up their own arbitrary rules, bureaucrats. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was almost like they just wanted to see what they can get away with, and it was horrible, horrible. I mean, and then you still have idiots out there sticking up for China, and there's video of them welding people into their apartments to literally starve to death because they had the audacity to leave their dwelling to try to go out and scavenge for food. It's like, but this is the society they want us to emulate. And this is the society that Biden wished we could be because they can, by God, get things done quickly. I'm like, yeah, but at what cost? At what human cost are they able to do these things? because they don't give a shit about you, the individual. That's antithetical to the American way of life and thinking. Yeah, whatever. How long are their emergency powers line to bypass? Yeah, I mean, even in New York, right? Remember Cuomo sending all the sick into the old folks' homes, even though he had a hospital ship that Trump sent parked in the harbor. It was never utilized. Never utilized. But Cuomo, I know what he was thinking. Old people on Medicaid and Medicare are taking up valuable resources. We got an awful lot of them, so we'll put the sick people in there with the elderly, and we problem kind of solves itself, right? Dead people don't collect benefits. Then he gets a little handsy with people in office, and he gets booted out, and now he's running for mayor. But he would still be preferable to Mamdani. I'm just saying. Oh God. Oh, you tell me. Academia is beginning to preach that China is the way of the future because it's getting harder to sell us on Europe. Pretty much is their job. Dude, Europe right now is Soviet light. The only thing they're missing from what the Soviets had is a military. Their policies are stupid, like straight up stupid, and they're having every year they're getting becoming less and less in common with Western values, especially our values, and it's sad to see. It's sad. I mean, they don't honor things anymore like freedom of speech. When the police can come knocking on your door because you offended somebody online, well, fuck that person and fuck you. How about that? Fuck your offense. Go cry about it. Go have a good cry about it and come back. Fuck your feelings. Your feelings is what sold your continent out to where you're in the situation that you are now, which is about to collapse. You've collapsed your society. Congratulations. But hey, at least your feelings are protected online, right? Donde Rizzo. Where is Rizzo? I have no idea, but hello. Only if I'm your probation officer. I didn't even ask him to do that, but I'm not mad about it either. Not even mad about it. Bunch of stupid faggots, man. I swear to God. Because that's what you're acting like. Bunch of pansy ass faggots. Sorry, not sorry. It is what it is. I guess this is a Gen X thing. Millennials, they just don't understand. Some of you could do with some good clean cut living. You look half as good as I do at 50. You'd be so lucky. I'm just saying. Because I've seen some of your profile pics. And you're talking about lack of testosterone or having glasses or whatever, man. I've seen you man bun, ironic glasses, fucking blue hair, skinny jeans, getting your ass kicked by the Proud Boys in the streets because you're LARPing as a ninja, wanting to fight the patriarchy. amazes me that you guys can like remember to breathe. As they should. Yeah, I say that tongue in cheek because I know gay people. Whatever. It doesn't. It actually doesn't bother me. But yeah, they got a big problem with the T as well. It's like I guess I'm just old. It was just the LGB back in the day, right? Because that's all there really truly is. You got lesbians, you got gay, and bi, right? It's one, the other, or both. That's it. There is no fourth gender. There is no fourth option unless you're a furry, and I guess an other can, and that's and even when you're fucking an animal, I guess you still have a male and a female. So really, not really. You got the three choices: either different, the same, or both. That's it. It's not how you feel that day, and how you get out of bed, and like, oh, I feel like a man, I feel like a woman, I feel like both. That's not the way genetics works. That's not the way sexuality works. It's not the way any of this works. And that's why these people are voting for Mamdani because they can't figure out their own sexuality, more or less figure out what a political ideology is that seems realistic. So when you have Santa Claus out there promising you everything in the kitchen sink, then yeah, you tend to believe the bullshit. And it's unfortunate because it's not the way reality is. And New Yorkers are going to find out the hard way. They're going to find out the hard way. It's going to be dramatic and tragic and all highly preventable. But people want to believe the lie. And reality has a funny way of rearing its ugly head to let them know that what they truly believe in doesn't matter. Reality matters. And that's all there is to it. So with a few, yeah, man. I mean, it was just transvestites back in the day, man. You just had dudes that like to dress in women's clothing. I mean, it wasn't such a huge deal back in the day because I grew up watching Monty Python. Right? They all dressed like women in the movies and on the shows. So it's just like, you know. But they didn't actually truly believe they were women. And see, that's where the whole gender dysphoria thing gets all fucked up, and it's whatever, man. And if you're an adult and you really believe that, and that's the way you want to live your life, it's no sweat off my balls. I don't care. I don't care. It's when you're trying to force people to your way of thinking, or if they misgender or dead name you, or some other bullshit. I'm like, well, that's kind of a you problem, not society's problem. And no, if I mistakenly, if I don't know you personally and I say hello or good morning, sir or ma'am, and like, I'm not a ma'am, I'm a man. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You look like what you truly are. It is what it is. Now, if I knew them personally or they're a friend, yeah, I'd respect their feelings. But if you're just some asshole on the street, I'm gonna try to be respectful for you. But if I get it wrong, tough shit. Tough shit. Phil Collins, 420. Well, I'm talking about a lot of different things, but primarily uh, Mamdani over in New York City is running for mayor, and he is an out in the open socialist, which is just another way of saying communist, because that's in reality what he actually is. And New York is about to find out about socialism and communism and why it's a stupid way to live your life. And Some people have to learn the lesson the hard way and repeatedly, and that's where we're at. Yes, he is, which is about the furthest thing away from an actual American. And mind you, he was born in Uganda. He's only been an American citizen for about 7 years now. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's from a very wealthy family, and he's got nothing in common with actual Americans. He's an astroturfed socialist communist candidate that is bankrolled by George Soros, and unfortunately, it's working, right? Because lots of money poured into somebody, and then when times get a little tough, you have one asshole out there talking about he's going to fix all your problems through government. Well, I mean, it sounds appealing because right now government can't get out of its own way because these people can't even keep the damn thing open to pay the benefits. So, oh, that's another thing. I thought it was very funny. They have district judges out there trying to tell Trump how to use his executive powers and how to allocate money that is at his discretion during government shutdowns. District judges, I hate to tell you, are not above the presidency. So when you have somebody out there telling them how to exercise his executive branch powers on spending on the contingency fund, it, he doesn't have to listen to that. He is the president. He is above the district court judges. You understand that, right? We have three separate but supposedly equal branches of government, right? He is on par with the Supreme Court, not a district court judge down here. He's way the fuck down there, right? And when the government shut down, it gives the president a lot of latitude lawfully on how to spend money, up to and including cutting people that are deemed non-essential, which is why he is lawfully allowed to fire people during a shutdown. And it's also up to him on how he wants to spend the contingency funds because those are for actual emergencies. Like if a hurricane came rolling through and he needs to fund FEMA, right? That's what that shit's for, not to tide people over because the government is at a gridlock in the legislature. This is not an executive branch problem, it's a legislative problem. And people need to understand. And you can't go out there bitching about the man being a king and ruling by fiat and then expect him to override the legislature and rule by fiat. It doesn't work that way. That's not the way any of this works. Well, there's a lot of truth in that, Phil. Yeah, the AI is a problem. We are. Yeah, we. This is a bad movie. Yeah, it's a lot of things are happening at once. A lot of bad things are happening at once. Um, it's going to take some cooperation across our society to get some of these things done. And I'm not saying that the people on the left don't have a right to bitch because there are a lot of fucked up things going on. But the solutions that they're presenting are just worse or place us in a worse position than what we are already experiencing now. It's kind of like the French Revolution, the stupidest fucking revolution ever been purported in written history. And you saw where the French Revolution took us. You know, it got us to Napoleon. So you got rid of your king. You had your republic for a little while, abject failure, and then you inherited an emperor, and then it set Europe on fire. Dumbest revolution in history. We don't want that. A big scare like those of the Y2K bug, right? Planes falling out of the sky because of the calendars. Yeah. No, it's coming, man. It's coming. Um, I did say a long time ago that when the AI becomes sufficient enough, and it's come to that point, the white collar people were going to have to more worried about it than the blue collar, and we've seen that. Though it's affecting blue collar too, to be sure, but it's the white collar ones. If your job is just to sit there on a fucking computer all day, doing whatever the fuck, generating reports, analyzing data, taking calls, AI is going to replace all that. It just is, and it's going to be better at it than you, because the AI is not going to cop an attitude. And it's going to replace a lot. HR, done. All that shit. Graphic artists. I mean, they were bitching. I mean, I can't blame them. They put all the art and uploaded it, so it's just basically using stolen art. But when it gets down to the tangible level, that's when we have to start worrying about it. And it's getting there, right? I've seen the Aurora trucks going down the road. By the way, a lot of Hirschbach and Warner is being hauled by Aurora, and they're going to add hundreds more of those trucks going from El Paso to Fort Worth. So just a heads up. Now, I don't like talking about the trucking stuff because it's not really pertinent to where I'm trying to take the channel with the politics, but it's right now they are not AI trucks are not allowed to haul hazmat. So if you haven't got your hazmat endorsement, you need to get it. And if you're doing dry van and you're just going around from one DC to the next, you really need to think about specializing and getting the hell away from that, because that is going to go away. And stamping your foot and screaming at the moon is not going to change that fact. I'm just giving you a heads up. That's the way it's going. So right now, it can't haul hazmat. And there's only so many hazmat jobs to go around. So we're playing musical chairs here, and you don't even have your endorsement yet. You're already way behind the curveball. I'm just saying. I get it, man. I get it. Jobs and give us some kind of golden parachute right around the time I turn 50. That would be great. Yeah, no shit. Well, I was told by a credible source that the new AirPods are actually considered a listening device. So, technology is getting better, dude. That sounds like a hell of an idea. Works for a lot of people, from what I've seen on YouTube. There's also see a lot of expats coming back because once the shine wears off of living in a third world country, and you get tired of running into third world problems with a first world mindset, you see a lot of people coming back. But yeah, we need an escape, especially when you retire, your social security can actually stretch and you can live a quality life, because it ain't here in the United States. See, that's one of the things that the left and the right agree. The rank and file, we agree on a lot. We see the same problems. It's again, it's the solutions that you're looking for that are the issue that's preventing us from getting things done as a united front. AI is about to fuck everything up, guys. Everything. Kaczynski wrote about never-ending grind to authoritarianism with Teklo Govel. American and British immigrants are actually ruining the Filipinos' quality of life now. It's still cheap to us, but yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, That is also because the dollar, the U.S. dollar, is still the world reserve currency, and when we inflate the dollar, it affects all the other currencies. And if you're from a weaker economy nation, such as the Philippines, no shade, it just is what it is. Uh, it really fucks them up. It really fucks them up. Um, During the Biden administration, Sri Lanka deposed their prime minister because food inflation was so high. And that wasn't necessarily the prime minister's fault. It was because Biden had caused so much inflation in such a short amount of time that it was imploding their country and people could no longer afford to eat basic foods like staples like the rice and whatnot. So, yeah, it's a real problem. So, we need to have sound economic policy because the world is literally depending on us and people will starve if we don't get our shit together. And that's not going to help the situation. I mean, you got dumbasses like Mamdani out there promising everything coming from the government. The government doesn't create; they only can reallocate. And government spending is what causes inflation. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Most of you probably do because you're smart. But yeah, that's what causes inflation: government spending. So, what do you think's going to happen when you get some dumb prick from Uganda that's only been American for 6, 7 years, promise you everything and under the sun to be for, by, and from the government. It's not going to be good. Technological advance. Well, I mean, there's some truth to that, but I mean, he was also lived like a fucking hobo, and I'm not a tree hugger. Doesn't mean I want to pollute the environment either. That's why I'm a big proponent about bringing a lot of manufacturing and industry back to the United States because we actually follow good manufacturing practices and we actually give a fuck about the environment. I mean, we've learned our lesson, right? We got tired of our rivers being on fire and other shit. You didn't want to chew your air. I mean, the air quality in LA used to be super bad. And I think I don't know about so much today, but back in the 70s, it was smog and acid rain. When was the last time you heard about acid rain here in the United States? Because we did something about it. But shipping everything overseas was also not the answer because it turns out what they pollute over there affects us over here because we live on the same damn planet and we have a thing called the jet stream and that shit circulates. So it doesn't matter how much we cut our carbon and fossil fuels if we just keep allowing China to open up yet more coal powered factories and power plants, then it's just any cut we make over here is just going to be redoubled over there, and it's a stupid game to play. You quit taking acid years ago. You're right. India and China are the main culprits because they don't give a fuck. I mean, you have so many people living in such a small space. They don't value human life like we do. I mean, we're kind of unique. We have a lot of people here in the U.S., but we also have a lot of elbow room. Right? We're not all stacked on top of. I mean, yeah, the coastal states. That's where a lot of the people live. But even there, you have more elbow room than say even in Europe, right? And Europe is dealing with infrastructure built by the friggin' Romans in some areas. So it's bad. But it's even worse when you're, in China and over in India. And it is what it is, right? When you're poor or from poorer countries, you got fuck all to do except drink cheap booze and just screw around with the ladies. Well, you're not exactly out there. It takes money to buy birth control. which is the irony about human society because the Western societies are more developed, but our birth rates are cratering. So it's like the movie Idiocracy. It's the poors and the stupid that will overpopulate and take everything over once we die out because that's the way we're heading. Replacing our birth rates with dumbass. I don't like saying that, but I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. There are smart people over there. There are a lot of smart people, but there's a bumper crop of stupid too. It just are. I mean, we have stupid people too, but we just have fewer of them, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. And it it really depends on the culture that you grow up in. It makes all the difference. It just does. And I'm tired of having to shy away from that and pointing that out. We are not indispensable economic units that we're plug and play with just anybody from around the world. Where you're from and how you grew up and the culture that you did grow up in matters. It just does. And I'm tired of having to dance around that because it's demonstrably true. Yeah, yeah. They have too many kids. They do. You know, especially when you come from cultures that believe in cousin marriage, especially first cousin marriage. That's a problem. That's you're rife with inbreeding. And we know where that goes. And yes, you make a lot of genetically fucked up people with mental conditions. And we've even seen that in our leaders, you know, especially with the royals, right? Because basically all the European royals are all cousins. And there are special genetic markers of the royal people because they're so fucking inbred. And it comes with a lot of problems, a lot of cognitive problems, a lot of maturation problems, a lot of personality problems. They don't function well. And these are people who are supposed to run nations, right? It's a problem. It's a problem at the top, and it's a problem when you do it down here too, right? When it's so pervasive. When you come from a society that didn't ban rape until 2018 because they thought it was perfectly normal that when you have a sexual emergency that you could just take it out on the nearest female. It could be your sister, it could be your cousin, it could be your next door neighbor or whatever, you know. But that's perfectly acceptable. When you come from some societies where the women are in the 90 percentile range of the total amount of them being raped, it's a problem. And that's the people that you're importing, especially in Europe, because you share a land border or a landmass with them, or it's easier to get over there. It's a damn problem, and it needs to be addressed, not glossed over. And that's why we're dealing with a lot of problems right now because not all cultures are compatible. They're just not. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah, any cloistered, sequestered society is going to be rife with inbreeding. It just is. But some societies, it's more pervasive, right? And let's be fair, right? I'm agnostic, but I did grow up in a Christian society. And say what you want about Christianity, you can say that Jesus lived a pretty clean cut life, right? At at least the way it was portrayed in the Bible. He was the turn, he was the peace guy. He was the one about giving food to the masses, loving your neighbor, don't throw stones, glass houses, so forth and so forth, right? And then you got the other guys that came later, the warrior prophet, the Mohammedans. Very much into polygamy, well documented, legit. He did fuck little kids, married them. Aisha, go look her up. Married at 6, consummated at 9. There's whole sections of the Quran where it's real popular now, but it's been out there forever. The Zut al Zut, Zut, however you want to pronounce it. Basically, Muhammad went on a homosexual bender and got ran a train on by these fucking North Africans. It's there in the Quran. Some of the passages that Muhammad was mounted like a stallion. It's not hard to interpret that. They try to shy away from that because they're trying to distance themselves from homosexuality, but their prophet was fucking little kids, and he was getting railed by black Africans in a homosexual way. And so to have their own prophet be so perverted and corrupted, and they mirror themselves after this guy and they put him on a pedestal that he's some kind of perfect being. It's no wonder that a lot of their societies are fucked up. They just are. I'm sorry, not sorry. They just are. Oh, with sister brother marriage, they had built pyramids. Your theory, you're shooting blank. No, that wasn't. No. First of all, you're talking about the pharaohs and the royal family. It wasn't the rank and file. And second, they had the slaves build the pyramids. They weren't out. It wasn't the Egyptians out there doing the manual labor. It was the slaves. So you would say the Jews built the pyramids, the Hebrews. It wasn't the Egyptians. I feel dumber for having to point that out. And mind you, the last 300 years of the Pharaoh dynasty, the Pharaonic, how would you say that? They were the Ptolemy regime, and they were Macedonian. They weren't even like regular Egyptian. They were Greek because Alexander the Great gave one of his general Ptolemy Egypt as a prize for all the conquest he had been doing. So yeah, and and you saw how that ended, right? It ended with the Greeks in Egypt at the end. Cleopatra was the last of the pharaohs, and she was of the Ptolemaic uh, regime. She was Macedonian. So I don't know if they were sister fucking those 3 years or 300 years. I really couldn't tell you, honestly. But it was the slaves that were building the pyramids and shit. So yeah, yeah, that was the rumor. That was the rumor back in the '80s, man. Now, I mean, it doesn't mean they were butt fucking, uh, their orangutans and shit out there. Even though I have heard horror stories about them shaving orangutans. female orangutans and putting them in brothels, like legit. But when you're living in the Congo and shit like that, and you're basically eating anything that crawls because you're starving. I mean, any bloodborne illness. I mean, if you got into a tangle with an ape, and as funny as that sounds, it's like a real possibility over there. Okay, there's shit in wildlife that will like. I mean, I remember seeing this fucking 5 foot tall fucking bat. It's a fruit bat, but it was just hanging there. And it scared the shit out of you the first time you saw it, right? But it was over in Southeast Asia. Go look it up. There's like a 5 foot fucking tall bat. Just hangs out, eats fruit, but like see, just wild shit you would never imagine over here. It's commonplace over there. So if you're a hunter off in the fucking Congo somewhere, out in the middle of the goddamn jungle, and you had a tangle with a fucking ape, maybe it bites you. Maybe you're cutting it up because you're illegally poaching, and you got a scrape, and you got some of his blood in you. Now you got the AIDS, right? So it's not necessarily they were butt fucking these chimpanzees, but um, anytime you have the fluids crossing like that, and there's a lot of different ways that that can happen, especially running off in the jungle, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those cross species things that jumped from the apes to humanity. I think Ebola is the same thing. It crossed species, and now we got it. But fortunately, Ebola kills you so fast; it's hard for it to get to the next person. Which I guess it's horrifying but good at the same time. It burns you out too fast. But it's a real problem in the Congo, right? Because they had that, so they have a war going on. Or I don't know. Did Trump stop that one? He might have stopped that one. They were fighting some kind of civil war. There was a lot of fighting going on in the Congo here recently, and the Ebola had spiked between the two sides fighting because all the coming in contact with the blood and fluids and shit. So it's a real problem. But like I said, it normally stays contained because it burns you out too fast. You're basically liquefying from the inside out. That's a pretty horrible way to go. But it is what it is. Until you get weird shit like COVID, and then it's genetically engineered, and then the Chinese allow it to escape containment, but it's happening during their new year. And because they knew it was released, but there's no way to stop it, they're like, fuck it. If we're going to go down, we're taking the planet with us. So we're going to let all these people travel around the world during Chinese New Year. Because by God, China's not going to lose ground on the world stage because they unleashed the plague on the planet. And that's essentially what happened. They could have stopped it cold turkey, kept it contained within China. The rest of the world would have been more than happy to send whatever aid we could to have helped Chinese if they kept it there, but they chose not to. They chose to allow it to go across their borders and to spread around the planet because, again, they didn't know how virulent and deadly the virus was going to be. And they said, fuck it, if we're going to go down, we're taking you with us. And that's what happened. It was like, there's more of us than you. So there's chances are that there will be more of us remaining after everyone dies. So we're good. It sucks, but that's just the way they saw it because they're filthy fucking commies, and that's how they think. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say, guys. I think I got it out of my system. I've drunk enough tea. Anyway, yeah, New York's about to find out. I'm here for it. It's going to be funny. They're going to get exactly what they voted for in a socialist, communist, but they're not going to expect the ramifications for their decisions. And, if anything I've learned from Yankees is that they're allergic to accountability. and they will find a way to blame this on somebody else when it inevitably collapses, and not on their own actions and decisions that they made. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, you guys take care. Thank you for being here, and we'll do it again sometime. TC out.